Alright, we're back with a reasonable amount of games today that went a reasonable length and did not go for 15 plus hours, something I vastly appreciate. That doesn't mean we were lacking in terms of entertaining Counter-Strike though, as after all of the shenanigans of yesterday, we have redrawn the brackets and we are down to the final sets of best of 3 single elimination games to determine who is going to go on to the finals of the first ever Blast Bounty. It's do or die, it's sink or swim, and today we saw Heroic take on Team Liquid, Pain upset FaZe Clan in a stunning 2-0 victory, we saw Spirit absolutely mutilate FlyQuest, then we ended the day with an exciting but ultimately trivial win for NAVI versus Astralis. We're here to counter, we're here to occasionally strike, maybe it'll be 2 times, I don't know. But if you guys like this content, make sure you take a second, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already because it helps out immensely in the YouTube algorithm. And before we get started, I would like to thank today's sponsor. That's right, this video was sponsored by Skin Club. They're one of the most popular case opening sites in the scene with over 100 custom cases backed by its provably fair system. You can open cases individually or play against other users in case battles, whether there's against other users on the site, your own friends, or privately with bots if solo queuing isn't just a necessity, but a lifestyle. But that's not all. Skin Club also runs monthly events with free rewards to earn, free daily cases for a little extra Skrilla on top, and if you don't like what you got, you can try and upgrade to something else unless you are me specifically. If you want to play on Skin Club, you can do so at the top link in the description and get a 7% deposit bonus when you do so by topping off your account with crypto, credit card, or skins from your inventory. Please gamble responsibly and make sure you are over 18 and live in a country or jurisdiction that does not restrict gambling. Never gamble to make a profit and only play with money you are okay losing. Gambling can be a serious addiction, and if you or a loved one are suffering in the US or Canada, you can reach out toll-free to 1-800-GAMBLER to receive help. Be safe and well, and thank you to Skin Club for sponsoring this video. Heroic continued to look very strong in their opening match against Team Liquid today, taking the victory in 3 games. And while Liquid, backed up by NAVI, has taken a definite step forward in the firepower department, they still have so much to grow and adapt as a tactical team. It just felt, especially when we get later into Anubis and Ancient, when things started to go wrong, there weren't really much attempts to try and switch up the formula. It felt like Liquid were very committed to whatever strategies they were coming into this game with, and there wasn't much adaptation or trying to throw a new look at Heroic. They were comfortable just trying it again and again and hoping something would stick. But at least on this opener on Mirage, things worked out pretty great. This was a very close back and forth game where neither team was really in control for significant lengths of time. It was more like somebody would win a swing round on a full buy, they would force the other into an eco, and that would convert into a 2 or 3 round run, but then immediately the momentum would shift back not long after. It was certainly nice to see a great pop-off game from Twist. NAVI continues to look excellent, and Ultimate has been very consistent as of late going back to the major. I would say pretty confidently if this wasn't a rare off game from NAF, then Liquid would have won this probably even more dominantly than they otherwise did. But that gap in fragging at the bottom certainly left the door open for Heroic, who continue to look really good. Sunpius and Youngster continue to do very well, and xCloud, while he doesn't shine so brightly in this game, will definitely come online in the subsequent games in the series. Really, the difference maker was just some timely good A executes from Team Liquid down the stretch of the second half that allowed them to hold on to the rest of the momentum and win out the game. Had Heroic managed to convert one of these A-side defenses, I think they easily could have won this match, but no big deal, they definitely kept things interesting, and as we enter into Anubis, I was definitely a little bit worried upon retrospect because this is Team Liquid's strongest map. They've been arguably the best Anubis team in the world for the last couple of months, so it definitely felt like Heroic were on the back foot. However, when we get into the second half on the T side for Liquid, they kinda just threw this game away, and there's no real good way around that, so let's just kinda call it how it is. Liquid were insistent that no matter what may be, no matter what happens in this round, they are gonna go A, over and over and over again. And what that resulted in was 4 straight rounds of A-side executes that were swiftly defeated by Heroic. They were just running into the warm and willing embrace of xCloud, Sunpius, or Youngster on the retake, and they couldn't convert a single one of them. There was not even a vague posturing at a potential B take or like a mid split. No, it was A main into the site, A main into the site, A main into the site. And listen, some of the rounds were close. Sometimes they got the bomb down. That's cool. But at the same time, could we like just try something else? Like you're just throwing away momentum just over and over the same looks. At least try and posture a little bit towards B. Draw out some utility. Maybe go for a camera mid-A split. But no, it was just, we're going to do this over and over again. It was like Snacks was calling. It was really frustrating to watch play out. And it resulted in a very utilitarian 13-8 win for Heroic, moving us to Ancient for the decider. And this is where things just get absurdly frustrating as a Team Liquid fan. Alright? We get into the second half. Liquid win the CT side pistol. They end up going up to a 9-6 lead before conceding 6 straight rounds to Heroic's T-side efforts. And what this boils down to is Heroic got every goddamn opener on every single round, and they just won. It was always Liquid on the back foot in a man-down situation, and just this maddening cycle of lose the opener, lose the bomb site, force into 3-man or 4-man saves because the economy is too thin. And listen, those saves are the correct call. I'm not disputing the fact that the save is the correct call, because at any point, one of these rounds could have turned into a full save, and that would have been disastrous. So Liquid kept themselves in the fight, in the sense they managed to string a bunch of full buys back to back to back despite losing all these rounds, but they kept losing the opener, be it in mid, be it up B ramp. It didn't matter whether it was xCloud, LNZ, or Sunpias. They kept winning the opening duel, and that meant Liquid had no chance to battle back into the rounds. And it brings it to kind of a broader issue that Liquid might be running into. Yakindar, for good or ill, is an aggressive, opener-focused player. There is no more hard entry opener type presence on this team outside of Ultimate, who occasionally play that role with the op in hand, and that's going to be an issue because I think so far, despite the firepower indeed being better, Liquid can sometimes look very passive and very reactionary instead of being proactive in their map control, and that's exactly what happened here. They had no presence at all winning the openers, and it gave Heroic a free window into winning this series and knocking them out of the tournament. In our next matchup, we had Pain taking on FaZe Clan, and this was a shocking game from FaZe because they got just straight up beat. They were thoroughly outplayed on both of these maps by Pain, and that's surprising because for all the good or ill from FaZe, it's always felt like even at their lowest, they've been very good at just not losing to teams beneath them in the world standings. Now again, that's not a discredit to Pain at all. Pain are one of the most exciting teams in the scene, and they always seem to get better and better over time. It's just, I think FaZe looked a little bit flat here, and it's because they're still trying to bet in Bubblesj. Obviously, the first tournament in, there's gonna be some stepping stones to be filled in. Clearly, the CT side setups need some work, especially on maps like Inferno, which I would prefer them just to ban, but we'll save that for a little bit. The big thing, though, is that compared to them, Pain are just hitting the ground running. Davideus has just slotted in and immediately leveled up this team in terms of firepower. Much like with Liquid, the difference is that Big Azera is a good enough in-game leader to put the calling around this team that's needed to make them shine. Just very well executed CT side defenses. Davideus was rotating back and forth between mid, A, and B as needed, and just getting great impact. Bubblesj was fantastic on both sides of the map in this game, but other than Brokey also looking quite good, no one else really showed up. Rain had a disaster game, 6-15, and Bubblesj did his best on this T side, getting some great openers, even getting an awesome 4K that was cleaned up by Brokey while they were in the midst of losing a ton of rounds. But outside of Bubblesj Heroics, there was just nothing doing as far as penetrating these bomb sites and getting meaningful rounds. Most of the time, FaZe couldn't even approach to getting a bomb plant. This is just one of those games where I think you see that 13-10 scoreline, and if you didn't watch the game, you'd think that's pretty close. But this second half was just all Pain all day, and they looked thoroughly better than FaZe. We move on to Inferno, and I've already harped on in an earlier video this week that I think they should just start banning this map, at least as a temporary measure, because it's very clear that with ROPS gone, the reworks they need to do to their CT side setups are just going to be very hard to make work in the interim, and I'd much rather see Kerrigan just see what they can do on New Train because he's such a good innovator. They continue to kind of spin the wheel on a map that's routinely let them down for the better part of a year. I mean, we open up, just like with the Dust 2 game, with an incredibly nice first half from FaZe. Their T-side looked excellent. You look at all the fragging, incredibly evenly spaced. Everybody except Brokey had 8 or 7 kills, and Brokey had 5 for himself, so everyone was contributing. We go over to the CT side, and Bubblesj only got 2 more kills for the rest of the game. And considering Bubblesj is your superstar new signing, that's, bear with me here, the math might be a little complicated. Not good. And what bothers me is, again, FaZe, if we wind the clock back to a year ago, Copenhagen Major, thereabouts, FaZe were the best Inferno team in the world to start CS2. They redefined the CT dominance of this map with the new narrower lanes, their utility out of spawn, the way they would control mid. You did not want to play FaZe on Inferno, and right now, if you can pick Inferno into FaZe, you absolutely should. They look that creaky on it, especially on the CT sides. They just can't defend the bomb sites to save their lives right now, and they're not even buoyed by the fact that Rops was arguably next to Bit one of the best apartment side players in the entire world. And now with Bubblesj, the spots just don't seem to be fitting in as much. And it's going to take time to work. And I think instead, they should just focus their efforts on somewhere else and give Inferno a break. Again, 13-11 scoreline. Looks really close. You watch the tape, Pain were clearly the better team down the stretch of the second half. And that's what matters. Doesn't matter how good you are in the first half. If you can't finish the games, you can't finish the games. And Davideus has been instrumental in Pain finishing games lately. And speaking of finishing, the Spirit just committed a war crime against FlyQuest. I mean, dude, the 13-3 on Anubis, 13-1 on Dust 2. Donk got 44 fucking kills in 30 rounds of play. That's nearly 1.5 kills per round. Let me say that again. 1.5 kills per round played while he was speedrunning FlyQuest's trip to the airport. I mean, again, not to belabor the point, but this series was so over that Magix went 11-9 for the series across both maps. Jesus Christ, can anyone stop Donk? And we are wrapping up our day with NAVI versus Astralis, a matchup I actually was looking forward to, because considering how Astralis played on the opening day of this tournament, I thought they were going to give NAVI a run for their money. I think with Device seeming to kind of be back in prime form, that frankly, anything was possible. And they got NAVI on Inferno, a map they feel very triable on considering how their T-side can still be so slipshod. But getting right into it, the T-side for Astralis simply couldn't get anything done. This was the Device show with a little bit of a, secondary stage performance from Stair, but that was about it. Not only could Cadian not really get any kills, he also wasn't calling very well. And for all the shit I talk about Navi's Inferno, it's never been about their CT sides, because their CT side setups look so unfun to play against, with Bit just being this impenetrable great wall on the A side. Emma can be anywhere, everywhere, all at once. Wonderful's going to do great work around mid. JL and Alexi make for a great duo on Banana. Their CT sides are frankly damn near perfect. It's just the T sides for Navi that definitely worry me, and that's why even though this was a 9-3 start, I was pretty confident that Astralis still had a shot at winning this game, and with Device going absolute beast mode on the second half, that was very much possible. And now, I must do my duty here and formally apologize for Caster cursing this game on Twitter. As you can see here, my first call at the beginning of this game was, hey, I think Astralis could actually win this game. Towards the end of the second half, I clarified that I might have been wrong. Then, a viewer who follows me on Twitter, which you should at linked in the description down below, correctly replied that Emma and JL are in fact ruling Inferno. And as the second half commenced, I was like, hey, listen, their T-sides tend to betray them. Maybe something happens here. And then things started coming all according to plan. Unfortunately, I just shouldn't have said anything, because I tweeted this out right when Astralis tied things up 11-11, and then Blade, the demon god of timeouts, rose up from his crypt to let everyone know that his conversion rate on round wins after a timeout is just unimpeachable. And when NAVI called this timeout, I knew we were screwed. They came out 11-11 after the timeout and just kind of calmly won the rest of the game. 2 straight rounds, easy as can be, like NAVI are the masters of T-Side Inferno. My bad, guys. And while the door was very much open for Astralis to win on Inferno, there was no such opportunity on Ancient, a map that NAVI have been consistently excellent on, and they showed that here. Bit continues to be genuinely fantastic. He has been the best player for NAVI so far in this tournament by like a country mile, and he's just playing out of his mind. I don't know if he's going to keep this up, but his form, especially when you compare it to the fact that he kind of had a down major, he looks fantastic right now. Device, for everything that I talked about how well he's been playing, including that epic 29 kill game he just had on Inferno, had 6 kills. And to make things worse, as NAVI went on to win like 10, 11 straight rounds, Device had 0 kills in the second half. 0 kills in 7 rounds played in the second half. 0 kills. Just gonna say it again. 0. Goose egg. Nada. Yeah, so this game went from a pretty compelling 6-6 first half into an utterly boring conclusion because NAVI were just unstoppable. I think Astralis on the right day could absolutely give NAVI a really challenging game, and we saw a lot of that on Inferno. Just when it came down to winning the game, the thing you gotta do at the end of it all, NAVI continue to be one of the best teams in the world. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Let me know what you think about the game today in the comments down below. I'll be down there responding as usual. Thank you to Skin Club for sponsoring this video. Check the top link in the description to get a 7% deposit bonus when you fill up. Please gamble responsibly and safely. Thank you to our channel members, Justin, Jesse, Furley, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PTR, and our newest channel member, the leader of the Gamer Legion fan club, B1. If you want to join and become a channel member, you can do so at the link in the description down below. For $5 a month, you get your name at the end of these videos, a custom role in our community Discord, as well as a giant thank you from me specifically. Also, please follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/LionHeartZ2. I stream Sunday through Friday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's been a lot of fun. Come hang out, and I'll see you guys soon with another recap. Later.